Okay, good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you. I hope that you had a restful weekend. I know that you've been at home for a month, more than a month now, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have had a restful weekend. But I have a feeling that May is going to be different for many of us because just judging from the headlines today here on the Philippine Star, there you go, Metro Manila, GCQ likely for Metro Manila after May 15th. And if you go to the top part, okay, the filing for income tax has been extended. The deadline for income tax has been extended. And then actually, you know what? I could just spend the day reading and analyzing the news for you. It's going to be interesting because aside from those double dose of good news regarding tax filing deadline extended, GCQ likely for Metro Manila after May 15, says the DILG. You also have Senate to pass CITIRA for business recovery, and the PESA, amusingly, interestingly, saying POGOs are not BPOs. I'm Cito Beltran. Welcome to the program agenda. You are watching us on Signal TV and One News PH for on channels 8 and 250, and on One News PH our Facebook Live. Now, let's go to the headlines and then we'll get on with our interviews and commentaries. For the headlines from the Philippine Star, the Interior Department has expressed optimism that Metro Manila may soon move from enhanced community quarantine or ECQ to the more lenient general community quarantine or GCQ. Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said the government has been seeing good indicators that may lead to such development. However, Malaya also said that even if it does happen, ECQ must still be implemented in some select areas like Quezon City and Manila, where several districts have been placed under a hard lockdown. However, Malaya also said, different NCR cities have also had distinct situations when it comes to the pandemic. In Valenzuela City, Mayor Rex Gatchalian has said that they are ready for the lifting of the ECQ. But over in San Juan, Mayor Francis Zamora said otherwise, and he might even seek an extension of the ECQ. The government has suspended inbound commercial flights for 1 week as part of the fight against COVID-19. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, issued the suspension order, which started at 8 a.m. yesterday and will last for 1 week. CAAP said the order was made upon request of COVID-19 Action Plan Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. Outbound commercial flights will be allowed, but with strict coordination from the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Diseases, or IATF, and the Foreign Affairs Department. Both chambers of Congress are set to resume today as the lawmakers start to work on measures that will help the country recover from the pandemic. In the upper chamber, Senate President Tito Soto said at least 12 senators have signified their intention to be physically present in the session. This gives them the quorum so they can vote in changing session rules, which will then allow them to hold future sessions via teleconferencing. In the lower house, 25 Solons are expected to be physically present, while the rest of the district representatives will join their sessions via teleconferencing. House Speaker Alan Cayetano said that improving the country's healthcare system is number one on their agenda. Still on the legislative branch, the Senate is eyeing passing the proposed Corporate Income Tax and Incentives Rationalization Act, or CITIRA. to help business get back on their feet. Senate President Tito Soto said Sitira will help corporations and even micro, small, and medium enterprises. Sitira aims to lower the corporate income tax and improve the incentives system for businesses. And the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, or PEZA, has spoken up, saying that the Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators, or POGOs, are not classified as business process outsourcing firms. PEZA Director General Charito Plaza said that online gaming is not included in the Trade Department's list of BPOs, and as such, POGOs are not allowed to register with PEZA. Currently, POGOs are listed with the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR. The topic has been hogging the headlines after presidential spokesman Harry Roque said over the weekend that POGOs are BPOs, which is why they were allowed to operate despite the community quarantine protocols. To be fair with Secretary Harry Roque, I think he merely speculated or made a wild guess that they would fall under BPO. But PAGCOR Chief Andrea Domingo has been seen on video saying that they do classify under BPO. In any case, we will go back to that later. Just as a, just to make a point, last week I raised the issue of policemen wearing combat uniforms, and I actually wrote that they have been seen patrolling streets with armored personnel carrier. And if a picture says 1,000 words, please look at the top portion of the front page of the Philippine Star, and that essentially drives my point home. Are we at war? I know our enemy is a virus, not the public, and this is very disturbing. This state of mind, this tactic is uncalled for, and sorry, but I just need to speak out against it. In any case, let's move on to today's interviews. We have first up the Undersecretary for the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT. He formerly served as secretary in the same department. He also had a stint as commissioner at the National Telecommunications Commission, probably the most active, hardworking officer of the DICT. Usec, Eliseo, Rio, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zito, and good morning to all those who are listening and look in your program. Thank you.
Okay. First up, we'd like to ask you what's happening at the DICT. Ano ba ginagawa ninyo? Because I don't know if you've been watching a lot of local TV right now, especially the news. Many of us who have programs, talk shows or interview programs or current affair programs, who interview government officials have a 30% chance of losing the interview because of poor signal. Ano po ba ang status natin ngayon in terms of internet connectivity in the country, sir?
Okay, a little historical background here. No, remember 2-3 years ago, the first thing that the administration under President Duterte asked for was emergency powers to solve the problem in EDSA. No? DICT then advocated the work from home and classes from home because these are the two main causes of traffic in EDSA. And because of this advocacy, we had the telecommuting law. And because of that law, there was improvement in connecting our homes, our offices, to the internet. No? And that is what is helping us right now. Had this pandemic crisis happened 2-3 years ago, we could not be as actively. I mean, the telecommunication infrastructure could not cope up with the traffic that we are experiencing right now. No, everybody are at home right now and connected to the internet, but you can see there is still uh, zero breakdown. No, we are still communicating as best as we can. Of course, saying that we need, there is still a big room for improvement, and that is what we are focusing now.
Okay, I remember, I think it was 2 years ago when you hosted the first ever telecoms summit in the
Summit.
Philippines. And I was part of I was host during that event. And I remember that all the participants unanimously agreed that there was a problem at the local government level where many telcos are trying to put up cell sites, but it's either someone is asking for anything from 50 to 300,000 for a special use permit in order to build one cell site. And there was a consensus, or I think a manifestation, that this would be submitted to the office of the president and the secretary of the local interior and local government para matigil na itong corruption and red tape at LGU level. What is the situation right now, sir?
Well, there is some improvement. We can say that. However, the improvement is really not enough. No. For example, right now, we have actually attracted 20 common towers providers, no, so that we can have more people, more companies putting up towers in our country because we badly lack towers. We need 50,000 more uh, cell sites just to compare with Vietnam. We have only right now 20,000. Vietnam has 70,000 as of this time. Uh, the main problem, as you have uh, said, was really getting permits. No, the tower were being built by Globe and Smart that time, and they need 27 permits from both national and local government.
27 permits and 150,000 on the average as grease
Yes,
money.
yes. No, well, I cannot say about anything about it.
Yeah, I know. I know you can't say it, but I'll say it because this is
Okay,
what came out in public during that first telecom
that time.
summit
Yes,
and has
that's
been the
true.
complaint of the telco company. Pero parang
Yeah.
hindi maaksyonan, hindi magalawan, or hindi madiktahan ng DILG. Now, given that we are in this state of national emergency, given the undeniable fact that we now all have to rely on internet speed heavily as a nation, and not just Metro Manila, but as a nation, what are you planning to do? Makakausapin na ba niyo si Presidente para matapos na itong kabaliwan na ito?
Well, actually, isang magandang nangyari dahil dito sa crisis na ito is that people realize, no, the importance of telecommunication in their lives right now. No, this is the new norm. Before we were used to having our transaction in the physical world, no, meeting physically, going to the banks physically, and so on and so forth. Uh, but this pandemic crisis showed us that almost all our activities can be done in the virtual world, no, just like what we are doing right now. And the number one problem into having a very efficient way of doing this is, of course, connectivity, telecommunication infrastructure, of which there was some improvement, no, compared to 3 years ago, but not enough. As I have said, we have actually in last year, 2019, attracted around 20 common towers providers from all over foreigners and local.
Yeah.
Uh, and they put in money. Actually, 2019 was historical also because for the first time in our history, BOT logged in a one more than 1 trillion committed investment, and one half of this came from the tower provider, the passive telecommunication infrastructure provider, put in actually almost half a trillion committed investment. But when they started rolling out, then this problem again of permits and everything slowed them down, no? And uh, so this is we partnered with ARTA to more or less. Uh, Good thing ARTA also came into being about 2 years ago. But of course, we were having the final action plan when this pandemic hit, no? But again, it showed us that even now the local governments are crying for connectivity. So we just turned the table to them because we have this for so many years, in fact, 2 decades. You have made it very difficult for us to roll out telco infrastructure. No? So that is why we are having this problem right now.
So
Uh,
they are all now paying for their sins.
that is it. And it took it took this crisis to do that. No? And in fact, this afternoon, we will have a online hearing in Congress specifically to tackle this problem. Actually, the committee concerned on the banking industry, how it can go on, and it will heavily depend on telecommunication connectivity. So we have to solve this problem. And
So,
if I may, Sito,
yes, sir.
yes, please.
Go no, go ahead, sir. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. How are we addressing this problem right now? One main problem is that we really lack connectivity to the homes, no, to fixed establishment. We have always been dependent on connecting to the internet through the mobile infrastructure.
Yeah.
So right now, if even if I'm at home, I am still connected to the nearest cell site of a telco for me to enter or to connect to the internet. No, and since we lack cell sites, of course, there is a crowding, no, of the use of cell site. That's why our internet is slow. And since we are connected to a mobile infrastructure, it is quite expensive. We need more connectivity direct to the home, fibers to the home, and things
Mhm.
like that. And small players can do this. Small players can do this. In fact, I was saying that to the small players, other than the big incumbent, if you just connect, let's say, 90% of homes to your network, no? Even if the people living these homes are Globe or Smart subscribers, even if they have the SIM card in their cell phones, once they reach their homes or their office or anything that restaurants that where you are the one providing for the Wi-Fi there, they will no longer be the subscribers of Globe and Smart. All of these will be your subscribers. However, there is need also because really they have to roll out. No, takes time to roll
Mhm.
out fiber to the homes. And again, the number one problem is permits, no, and things like that. But
Yeah.
in yes, in other
Y-
countries, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, even Malaysia, no, 100% of homes and fixed establishment are directly connected to the internet.
but has the DICT, has your department, Secretary Honasan, yourself, wala ba kayong champion? Wala ba kayong champion or someone, or can't you yourselves reach out to the president and ask the president to make a declaration, an official or executive order, just to remove the ability of local governments to block the construction installation of cell sites. I mean, yes, they have the right charge for permits, yung magkano yung babayaran sa permit, magkano yung babayaran sa city tax. Pero yung alisin yung karapatan sa kanila para pag-aralan o tanungin o questionin yung pagtatayo ng cell sites, because we can't. This is a chicken and the egg situation, and you and I have been you more importantly have really devoted so much time and effort to get all of these cell sites and all this connectivity up there, but it's not within the DICT. It's either with the president, office of the president, or the DILG. Paano na yan, sir?
In fact, we welcome the appointment of Secretary Honasan as the DICT secretary, no, because he has the ears and heart of the president. And of course, this is one thing also that the secretary has been doing since he has assumed the office, no, uh, trying to increase the rollout of our infrastructure, no, and there is some a success on this. But we are really well. We think that this crisis had opened the eyes of everybody, including the president, on the importance of that advocacy of rolling out, no, just to be at par with our neighbors, just to be at par with Vietnam, even Cambodia, no, and these countries are faring well, very well in this pandemic crisis because of their good, more efficient connectivity to the internet. So here we are really, well, being punished, if I may say the word, of
Yeah.
our lack of interest in rolling out infrastructure in our country,
Okay,
telecommunication.
what about the third player? Because last I heard from the third player, they said para silang nagteka-teka, meaning it won't be in 2021. It will probably take longer. So you get the sense that everything that could have isn't happening. Even the third player. What's their situation, Usec Rio?
Well, the third player, if they are on track, no, they never even indicated that they are asking for extension of their commitment, no.
Okay.
Uh, on July 8th, they will be technically audited on their commitment. That means in the first year they should have 27 Mbps speed, and they would should have covered 37% of the population. No? So far, they say they can do it. I mean, there is no indication that they are asking for some kind of extension. That is, however, the technical uh, well audit, no, technical audit that we're going to do. But their commercial operation will be after the technical audit. They want to be sure that once they operate commercially, there will be no more concerns or problems that will beseech their network, no?
Yes.
And as per their franchise, they are allowed up to March of 2021 to go into their commercial operation. So depending on the audit that NTC will conduct on July 8th, they will. But that is the limit, no? As per their franchise, they really have to operate by March of 2021. So whether they operate before that will depend on the audit, technical audit that NTC will conduct on July 8th of this year. And so far, they have not used this pandemic crisis as a reason to ask for or to request for extension
Okay. We are
until this point.
yeah, we are clearly paying for our sins. Well, ako, ikaw, we're not paying for those sins because we never committed those sins of blocking and corrupting the construction of a network cell site, a telecom cell site. But moving forward, okay, we now know that in the new normal, more of us will want to work from home, will have to work from home, and even the Department of Education, Secretary Briones has commented time and again that we will have to slowly but surely shift to online. She's already
Yes.
talking about giving a lot of the students tablets and then education online. But in your analysis, I don't know, is this DICT doing a technical study right now, an analysis of capability and capacity of our telecoms in the Philippines? In from 0 to 10, from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, where are we in our technical capacity and capability to service the expected demand of people working from home, doing business from home, and children studying at home online?
Right now, I would say between 6 and 7. And however, we are addressing, especially right now, people are already working from home, no? But classes from home, there were some problems. Students are complaining they could not connect, no?
Mhm.
And they are, especially those poor students, are disadvantaged in this aspect. So what we are doing right now, Tito, is we are now shifting our free Wi-Fi program to connect uh, classrooms. Uh, in fact, right now we have 6,000 uh, uh, satellite VSATs, no? Where even if there is no connectivity from the telcos, we can put a free Wi-Fi zone, and this will be mostly spread out to classrooms, public classrooms, no? And so this one we are targeting the opening of classes this year. Uh, Also, we are now encouraging small players, cable TV operators, thousands of them in the provinces, the PAP telco, the small telcos in the provinces, to provide low cost but fast internet speed. No, and this way we Secretary Honasan has already is coming out with a department order um, to reduce the spectrum users fee for all spectrum that are going to be used for internet. Frequencies to be used by Wi-Fi, frequencies to be used by IP radios, so that even the small players now can afford putting up uh, uh, clientele in their regions. No, one problem of the SUF, the spectrum users fee, is that only the big telcos can afford them because this is usually millions of pesos per year. No, well, the
Yes.
telcos can afford it because they have millions of subscribers, so they just divide the SUF to those millions of subscribers. But a small telco having only 1,000 subscribers or so cannot afford it. So
But
um,
can the DICT simply assign those spectrum bands that will be only for educational purposes and just give them for free para lahat ng barangay sa Pilipinas, both for government and for education, would have free access to that?
Well, yes. In fact, some of these frequencies are actually unlicensed. They should not be. They're free, actually, no.
Okay.
Except that they were included in the mobile frequencies network that has to pay so much SUF. That is also what we are going to discuss this afternoon, no. Um, and once this is in place, and hopefully before the end of the month, small players can now start putting up. In fact, this will, in fact, perk up our economy. If small players can put up internet connectivity to, say, homes, classrooms, in other words, this is going to be a new economy that will be uh, immediately that can be done, no, by us through a simple um, uh, NTC memorandum circular or
Well,
amendment.
yeah. Clearly, Usec Rio, that's going to be very important because when you think about it, right now, many of my friends who own big restaurants have shut down and they are operating only on takeout. Tatawag ka, or you will make a text, you will send a text message, or you will send an email, and then may pick up. And then,
Yes.
pati sa mga tricycle, I already see that happening. That after a while, even in our place in Lipa, Batangas, tatawag ka sa outpost, sa gatehouse para magpadala
Mm.
ng tricycle. Hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta lalabas kung saan-saan. So there will be a just really indispensable, undeniable need for connectivity, and
Yes.
I think that project of yours and of Secretary Honasan will make a big difference. Ang pinagtatakahan lang namin, Usec Rio, bakit hindi kayo nakakakuha ng publicity? Why is well, I'm sorry, my associates in media may not like the comment, but parang hindi interesting para sa kanila yung DICT, yung telecoms, and even for the policymakers. Why is the DICT and internet connectivity not in the front page now?
Well, actually, they are not in the front page because there are more views, no? More appreciated by our public than problems in connectivity. But actually, everyone is feeling the lack of connectivity. They see the need, no?
Mhm.
Um, so we are really going to take advantage of this, and of course, with your help, with the help of the media, we can actually bring out the problems on why we could not roll out as fast as we like to. What are our programs, and how we are trying to solve this problem, no?
Yeah.
Because
I just
it has
wanted to
been
ask.
shown.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Sec, kasi maubusan na ako ng oras. There will be a congressional hearing today. I assume you'll be there.
Yes.
Pag-uusapan ba ito? Kasi I'm sure tatanungin kayo, how much time do we need in order for all the needed cell sites and connections can be put up?
As far as what is needed, it's already there, no? 2019, nandiyan na yung investment, nandiyan na yung tao nagto-do, and yun nga, the only problem now is the permits, no? They could not move out as one uh, uh, cell site common tower provider is complaining. You know, sir, in Cambodia, we could have done 10,000 towers in the span of time in 1 year, but now we have only done a less than 1,000. So these are things that are we will highlight, no? How we compare. Why is it that up to now we have the lowest tower density, not only in the region, no, in the whole world? Why could we have been ahead of Cambodia, Vietnam in rolling out our mobile infrastructure by 5 years, 10 years? But now they have so much more towers than what we have now. No, basically it goes down to our local governments, our people, our subdivisions not allowing uh, cell sites to be placed in their areas.
Isa pa yun. In any case, Yusek Rio, I wish you all the luck. I pray for God's favor to be upon you this afternoon and upon Secretary Honasan, so that our members of Congress will come to realize that enough is enough. We have to tell these subdivision presidents and associations, we have to tell these barangay captains and their associates and the local officials, enough is enough. We need connectivity if we want to have a living economy after COVID-19.
Yes.
Maraming salamat po, and may you stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. And God bless you, Yusek Rio.
The same, Sito. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much for inviting me to your program.
Okay, you're welcome, sir. And that's Undersecretary Eliseo Rio of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. 3 years after the fact, uh, we are still in the same boat. We have put up 1,000, or in relative terms, 1,000 cell sites when 10,000 could have been put up simply because of the corruption and red tape. No one can deny that, and no one can wash their hands of that, because that is the experience of the two major telecoms group that have tried to put up but can't, because they are being asked anywhere between 50,000 to 350,000 by city councils, municipal councils, by provincial councils, etc., in order to get this created animal they call the special use permit. We implore President Rodrigo Duterte to please put a stop to this wickedness in the local government level. We'll go for a break. When we come back, more of our interviews here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching us on Signal TV, channels 8 and 250, and on the Facebook Live platform of One News PH. Now, we have with us next Miss Irene Dumlao. She is the spokesperson of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, and we just want to check up on them, how they're doing, but in particular, also to find out find answers to a particular question. Irene, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Cito, and to all followers of your program.
Kamusta naman kayo dyan sa DSWD? Nakakahinga na ba kayo o bugbog sarado pa rin?
Patuloy po, Sir Cito, ang DSWD sa pakikipagtulungan sa mga local government units para po maipahatid natin ang ayuda sa ating pong mga kababayan na naapektuhan ng krisis.
Okay, Irene, I know that as far as the social amelioration program is concerned, technically speaking, the money has been cascaded to the local governments, and if there are any problems, it's at the local government level. Is that correct?
Well, more than 80 billion pesos of the fund for the social amelioration program has already been transferred to the different local government units. And the local government units, as you have earlier mentioned, Sir Cito, are the ones responsible in transferring the funds or in distributing the funds to the intended recipients.
Okay, you said 80 billion. That's 80 billion of how much in total?
First tranche amounts to 100 billion pesos. And if you could recall, more than 16.3 billion pesos have already been released to the 4-piece beneficiaries.
Okay, so you're almost basically you're like left with 4 billion left from the total 100 billion. Now, there's a second tranche Is that already in the pipeline or pinag-uusapan pa o papalabas pa lang sa pamahalaan yung pera?
The Department of Budget and Management has already provided the DSWD with 96 billion pesos as additional SAP fund. However, sir, we would like to reiterate na yung mga local government units need to accomplish first yung first tranche, yung distribution of the first tranche. After which they have to submit liquidation reports to the DSWD. And we will be validating this report, and this will be the basis of our agency in releasing the second tranche to the local government units.
Okay, Irene, I'm not being argumentative or combative. May mga gusto ko lang liwanagin, ano, because the thought or the prevailing thought is we have a crisis. We have put so many people in lockdown, and for them to stay in lockdown, they need an alternative income or alternative means of living. So now the DSWD is rolling out the SAP, and that's okay. But you have given about 80 billion out, 80 billion plus 16 billion, and now the local governments have to account first before you roll out. Ang problema, the big fear is that by the time these guys have made their accounting and all the reports, the lockdown might be over and done with, and huli na. Baka as the saying goes, patay na, aanin pa yung damo kung patay na yung kabayo. I'm not being please, it's a figure of speech. Won't that cause such a delay that it would render our assistance too late, too little, too late?
I understand, Sir Sito. Kaya nga po tayo nakikipag-ugnayan sa mga local government units para po mapabilis yung proseso ng pagbibigay ng ayuda sa ating pong mga kababayang naapektuhan, because we recognize the need of our beneficiaries for assistance so that they could provide or they could address yung pong mga pangunahing pangangailangan nila sa panahon ng krisis.
Simple lang ba yung required accounting ninyo, Irene? Kasi syempre kami, ako in particular, no, alam mo, allergic ako dyan sa mga accounting na yan, kanya pinagagawa ko na lang sa commander ko eh. Kasi, when it comes to numbers. But in terms of local government making their reports and accounting, is it really a very simple requirement, simple process na should not take too long?
Yes, it is a simple process. Kinakailangan lamang po na i-encode nila yung list of beneficiaries in the matrix that we have provided. And then isubmit lang po yung report of disbursement. We just have to ascertain that the amount has been fully utilized or has been distributed. And we also have to check na yung mga beneficiaries na nakatanggap ay eligible po based on sa mga umiiral nating mga guidelines. And that there has been no cases of duplicity.
Would the medyo hindi curious lang ako, no? Do you have the means to check kung nanloloko yung mga tiga DILG, given that we're talking about at least 50 million people, 50 million individuals?
Well, ang DSWD, we have a existing list of program beneficiaries, and ito yung pwede natin pong i-check doon sa ating mga listahan na nare-receive from the local government units. Second, if we could recall, the Department of Interior and Local Government ay nagpalabas po ng direktiba instructing or directing local government units to post the names of SAP beneficiaries sa kanila pong mga barangay halls. In addition to that, the Department of Social Welfare and Development has also started posting the names of SAP recipients in our websites. Napakahalaga po nito dahil magiging kasama natin yung entire community in validating the list of recipients. And in this way, na-promote po natin ang transparency and na-engage natin ang lahat para maging vigilant and ma-ensure that our SAP recipients or beneficiaries are indeed those eligible to be included in the program.
Okay. Here's another question, Irene. No? Ito naman nakuha ko from a Australian who is now residing in the Philippines na nag-email sa akin. And this is only one of several such questions. My mother-in-law, who doesn't live with us, has just been told by the local barangay officials that she is not eligible for the 6,000 support payment because she is on a pension. The pension is only 2,000 per month. Ito yata baka SSS to or alam mo na sa AFP. But we have just been told that all seniors on pensions are not eligible and all those in the barangay have been delisted. They were all told last week that they were eligible. Do you have the answer or could you find it for us and all other seniors here that are upset and don't know what to do?
Okay. First, our unit of assistance is family and not individual. Second, our guidelines state that retired individuals or those who are receiving pension are not eligible to be included in the SAP. However, we would like to inform the public na depende pa rin po ito sa magiging assessment ng local government unit. Let me cite as an example. Kung ang isang pamilya po, ang head of the family ay isang senior citizen who is receiving pension ng 2,000 pesos a month, and the other family members are not naman po receiving or not earning an income in this particular period, then the family may be assessed to be included in the program. Kasi wala pong ibang pinagkukuhanan ng income yung pamilya. Ang natatanggap lamang po ay yung pension that na 2,000 pesos.
Pero kung yung senior citizen, like let's say, ako at asawa ko, kung kami parehong senior citizen, ako lang naman ang senior citizen dito, no? Baka masampal ako eh. Okay, kung kunyari kaming dalawa senior citizen and we are living by ourselves and we are not supported by any children, walang anak or whatever, are we entitled to that? Are we considered a family? Or kung single ako, wala akong asawa, wala akong anak, wala akong mga kamag-anak, am I qualified for the SAP?
Again, ang unit of assistance po natin ay family and not individual. So kung hindi po kayo pamilya at wala pong ibang family members who are dependent sa support ng head of the family, yung pong senior na yon ay hindi po mapapasama sa SAP. However, meron naman pong ibang mga programa ang ating mga local government unit or assistance that they could extend to these individuals.
Okay, I understand, Irene. You can only operate within what the law allows you to under the DSWD and the SAP. So, kailangan puntahan namin yung congressman, governor, whatever, for answers. In any case, thank you very much, Irene. That has been very helpful from you, and we sincerely, earnestly pray for the well-being of lahat ng mga tiga-DSWD. Yung lola ko dyan nag-umpisa nung social welfare agency pa kayo. Maraming salamat sa inyong kagitingan, katapatan sa tungkulan, at may you stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy. God bless you, Irene, and the DSWD.
Thank you very much, Rosito. And again, thank you very much to your program for giving the SWD the platform to inform the public on what we are doing in terms of implementing the social amelioration program. Thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you. And that's Irene Dumlao, spokesperson of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. And unfortunately for our friends who were asking, if you are single, you don't have family, then you don't fall under the SAP. Pinapaliwanagan po natin yan kung mag-isa lang kayo kasi ang SAP is a support for family. Ay, kung dalawa kami ng asawa ko, that classifies as family. Pero kung mag-isa lang ako, if I am only a single entity, been single all my life, then we're just going to have to find answers elsewhere because I mean, there are people who have stayed unmarried, who are single by choice, who are widows or widowers and have no kids, and I think that's a situation where things fall into the crack and somebody did not look into it. In any case, let's go to our correspondent Lynn Olivario, correspondent for News 5 and ESPN 5. Uh, we want to catch up with Lynn. I don't know if she's there. There's the Lynn Olivario. Lynn, good morning. Good morning sa'yo. Can you hear me? Okay, I think Lynn's having some technical adjustments at the moment. Can you hear me now, Lynn? Okay, we will try to get Lynn Olivario back because Lynn was present when the hard lockdown happened in Tondo, Manila, and we want to find out that I'm really curious about that hard lockdown, and I want to find out because here's the deal: why was there a hard lockdown? There were no real glaring reports of violations or breakouts in those areas in Sampaloc, in Manila. I mean, as things go, they had their fair share of outbreaks as far as COVID-19 is concerned, but not the outbreak that become movies, and when these hard lockdowns were announced, we kind of got curious that every time a hard lockdown was happening, it was followed by a testing by a group of people who basically after the hard lockdown, pasok sila and started testing the residents. Now, chicken or the egg situation. Is the hard lockdown there to facilitate, make it easier for the testing of the residents by a particular group? Or was the particular group simply just taking advantage of the situation? In any case, I don't know what happened with those lockdowns, but one thing's for sure, we need to find out what are the results of those lockdowns because in Sampaloc, out of 800 plus that were tested, the good news is it was not as alarming as most people would have expected. The contamination rate was still within the national average. The recovery and the symptomatics were more or less okay. But in any case, let's go on with our discussion for the day. Okay, now you have to watch out for what's happening because there is apparently an overseas I don't know what to call it, but our OFWs are following the senior citizens. Last week, it was the senior citizens group who were up in arms, who were angry like hell, who almost disinherited many grandchildren because their parents were the ones who were endorsing the lockdown on senior citizens. Now, this week, it seems that it's the OFWs who are now complaining because according to reports, and this is still up in the air, but according to reports, a lot of them are pissed off. They are really angry because they are now required to pay 3% of their salaries for PhilHealth coverage. So, from what I gathered, 3% of salary contributions to be made for PhilHealth by the OFWs. Now, here's the bad news. It's 3% for 2020. By 2021, it will be 3.5% of their salary. By 2022, 4%, and then it goes up to 4.5% until it reaches 5% as the years go by. Now, the Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin was so pissed about this that he used some unsavory terms to describe whoever crafted this policy. Please don't scream at PhilHealth. Hindi kasalanan ito ng PhilHealth. This increase in the coverage payment of OFW is a result of a law. Unfortunately, I was not able to write down the law, but the law basically provides the Universal Health Care Law provides for this. It's now, and that law has been passed. This is not a suggestion. This is not a policy of the PhilHealth. This was a provision of law under the Universal Health Care Act. Okay? So, now, because of that, OFWs have to pay the thing. Now, I'll discuss that later if we get a chance. But in the meantime, we have Lynn Olavario on the line. Lynn, are you there?
Yes, good morning, Tito.
Good morning, Lynn.
Yes.
Okay, Lynn, if you can hear me, can you just give us an update on what happened in the Tondo hard lockdown yesterday?
Okay, we asked, first let me differentiate what the differences between PCQ and a hard lockdown. So according to Police Brigadier General Rolando Miranda, the District Director of the MPT, the main difference is the area of concentration. So in an area where a hard lockdown is in place, more resources are devoted, in this case in the first district of Tondo, and that includes barangays 1 to 146. This is as opposed to monitoring the general aspects of the place where an ACT is implemented, like in the entire Metro Manila, for example. In fact, yesterday, the Manila Police District has dispatched more than 1,000 police officers in the entire Tondo 1 district in line with the enforcement of the 48-hour hard lockdown. So under the hard lockdown, all residents of Tondo District 1 are prohibited from going outside except for healthcare workers, government workers, frontliners, those involved in essential services. So the hard lockdown was implemented to give way for massive rapid testing operations due to the rising number of positive and suspected COVID-19 cases in the area. So basically, they want to be able to complete their target through mass testing and to isolate those who will test positive right away. Yesterday, the Manila Health Department was able to test 1,409 individuals using rapid test kits. 109 or 7% of those 1,409 tested positive, and they were then subjected to a follow-up confirmatory RT-PCR test via swabbing.
Okay, thank you very much, Lynn, and I hope you are doing fine under the circumstance, and I do hope I can have an even longer interview with you because right now we're having problems with the connection, but I got the data, and thank you for your inputs. Stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and God bless you, Lynn.
Thank you, Tito.
Okay, that's Lynn Olavario. She has been assigned to cover that hard lockdown, and it's interesting. From what I picked up, because of the hard lockdown, 1,000 police officers were assigned to that district in Tondo. No one could get in, no one could go out, and it confirms our observation. These lockdowns were being done to facilitate, to hasten, to facilitate the rapid testing process that's being done. And as a result of the 1,409 people who were tested, 109 tested positive. We'll try to get more information on that, and when that happens, we hope that we can get better details, because what were those 109 individuals? Were they cured already? Were they active positive? That's the problem with COVID-19 nowadays. I don't know if our friends in the provinces already picked up the news. You all know that at one point, about a month ago or 3 weeks ago, Senator Sani Angara got COVID-19. He tested positive for COVID-19. He quickly recovered. He was released from the hospital, and 2 weeks later, when they were monitoring his condition, he tested positive. Now, the doctors are assuming that this is just a residue or leftover how do you call this, leftover particles of the COVID-19 in his system. But that's just 1 out of 5 reports from last week, because there were also other instances or incidents where former patients who were positive for COVID-19 recovered from COVID-19, and during the testing tested positive after several weeks to have the virus still in their body. So please be careful out there. If you think you're bulletproof, well, a lot of my friends thought they were bulletproof, and now many of them have basically kicked, well, not many of them, but some of them have kicked the bucket. In any case, let's go to our next interview. We have a mathematics professor from UP Los Baños. He is also part of the UP COVID-19 pandemic response team. We have Jomar Rabajante. Jomar, good morning.
Good morning, Zito. How are
Okay,
you?
I'm, excuse me, when you come from the weekend, I don't have COVID. When you come from the weekend, your throat isn't used to talking this long. But in any case, there have been so many models presented regarding COVID-19 here and abroad. And the purpose of the models is to present a mathematical interpretation of how the COVID virus is spreading in the general population, how deaths are occurring or its incidents, blah, blah, blah. Now, what have you been handling as far as being part of the UP pandemic response team and being a mathematician? Sorry ako math 77 lang ako sa UP. Kasi take 7 ako sa math 11.
Yes. What we have done in the UP team is to actually we want to help the different departments, different LGUs. We're not really part of IATF modeling group, but independently we are providing recommendations. Let's say for LGUs, what are the minimum number of beds, minimum number of ICUs that they might need, and these are basically, of course, based on our projections, based on our models. Yes, and we have also created some trackers, like what will be the outbreak threshold for a certain city or province, so that we can gauge if what is the probability that this city or province will have an outbreak.
Okay, have you done anything in terms of, everybody wants to get out. Everybody wants to go from ECQ to GCQ to no CQ. Okay, now the thing is, I'd like to think in advance. When we lift ECQ to GCQ, have there been any models that are being studied on how we are going to face things? Kasi baka magaya tayo sa Wuhan na parang lahat nakawala sa koral at milyon-milyon na lang pupunta sa Boracay.
Yes. Actually, in our modeling, we just don't model one scenario. Maraming scenarios kaming minomodel. So, and this is very tricky, Zito, because every intervention, every single decision of the government will have a different dynamics. So we're modeling, let's say, if they have increased the testing, ito yung mangyayari. If they're going to lift this ECQ and certain businesses will open, this will happen. If we're going to open the schools, this will happen. So we have this kind of scenarios, and we have shown this to many policymakers. And another thing that people are always asking, when will be the peak? And that question is also very tricky. Kasi as we do interventions, nagbabago yung peak dynamics. Pwedeng mausod siya, pwedeng ma-delay, pwedeng
Oo.
bumaba, pwedeng tumaas.
Okay, Jomar, you have a PhD, I presume, in mathematics. Ako meron akong BS on guesstimate. Bullshit on guesstimate, no? So, my question to you is, anong guesstimate natin dito? Guesstimate is, would it make sense to lift the ECQ on May 15? Because that's already in the headlines of the Philippine Star na sinasabi ng DILG, malamang at malamang we will lift the ECQ to GCQ. What is the prognosis or what is the guesstimate of the UP response team?
Okay. For this also depends on the location. Okay? So we have different criteria. Hindi siya pwedeng buong Philippines and buong Luzon as a
Okay.
whole. We need to look per geographic area, per location. And then also what we have we actually partnering with also international modelers, and yung model namin and with their models medyo nagfi-fit in the sense that if we want to lower the peak, it's very important to do wide testing. Without wide testing, medyo tumataas talaga yung peak kasi we cannot really find those people that might be transmitting the virus na hindi natin nakikita. If, let's say, we have enough tests, then it could be possible na pwede tayong mag-lift ng community quarantine, but meron talaga siyang mga measures eh. So hindi siya one decision maker.
But Jomar, talking about measurements, testings, etc., do you guys even have access to any collected data regarding testing? Because the Singapore Technological University or something did this same modeling, and sabi nila mas malamang tayo we will basically flatten or get rid of the COVID threat by June 18, more or less. But they had a colatilla. Sabi nila, sa totoo lang, hindi rin kami sigurado kasi kalat-kalat ang informasyon, ang data sa Pilipinas. It is hard for us to have something definite or substantial in projections because the data in the Philippines is all over the place. Now, for you guys, meron ba kayong nakuha? Have you had access to any such data?
Yes, we have an access to the DOH database.
Okay.
And we also have access to the test done. Currently, today, around 4,500 tests are being done. And from this test, around 9 to 10% yung positivity rate natin. So we have this kind of data. And if we're going to sum all of the tests done, we have already more than 100,000 tests done by the government.
Okay, so you're saying about 100,000 tests conducted, 9 to 10% are positive. Okay, is that within the global standards, below or above the global standards?
Okay, this is counterintuitive, no? Kasi actually ang goal, mas bumaba yung positivity rate. This is actually counterintuitive kasi yung iba inisip bakit mababa masyado yung 9 or 10 or mataas. Actually, we actually want it to be lower. Like in Germany, ang positivity rate nila 3%. It means kasi mas wide yung kanilang testing. Mas nahanap nila yung mga possible asymptomatics.
Kasi if you test 1 million, the chances is that the percentage number will go down. Liliit. Dahil you're comparing it to a population of 1 million as compared to a population of 100,000 in the Philippines, malamang at malamang, makukuha mo mataas kasi maliit yung sample population mo.
Yes, that's true.
Kita mo na, may natutunan ako sa statistics at mathematics.
Yeah, and actually that's what we want. And from our projections, also with this group, actually also from Singapore, we are estimating na dapat mas mataas yung ating test, hindi lang around 4,500 or 6,000 per day. Dapat ang target natin 14,000 or above per day na test.
Yeah,
And
but
actually, that's already the plan. Yes,
yeah,
yes
but
po.
Jomar, given that situation, kasi alam mo yung sana at kung pwede is different from realidad,
Yeah,
katotohanan, ano?
yes.
Now, the reality is we can only test 4,500 to maybe at top at best 5,000. Okay, given that reality, how long before you guys can come up with any sensible model based on accurate or credible data?
Yes. In our model, of course, we always say that ito lang yung data na meron tayo. But our model is calibrated na if ever ito lang talaga yung test done in the Philippines. Okay. So in our model, we have these scenarios na if we have this kind of testing, this will happen. If we have this kind of testing, this will happen. And currently, dun sa aming website, okay lang bang mag-plug dito ng website?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, the endcov.ph, endcov.ph of the UP Resilience Institute, we have their trackers. And yung tracker na tinitingnan namin, yung tinatawag na reproductive number, every time tinatrack namin yon. And if ever that will be higher than 1, medyo delikado. If that's lower than 1, medyo okay yung nangyayari.
Okay, you mentioned na nakakausap niyo yung mga Singaporeans and you comparing notes. Kasi I told you June 18, mali ako. I was quoting for another country. The projection of the Singapore Technical University is July 8. Pinag-usapan nyo ba ito ng mga Singaporeans sa teka-teka? Kasi here, based on their report, the Philippines projection seems to be all over the place, which could be due to incomplete data provided by the country. But the algorithm expects the virus to end on July 8. At saka ito, hindi ito ginawa ng tao. This is not man-made. This was done by artificial intelligence. So, pinasok ito sa computer, algorithms, etc. What's your comment?
Yeah, actually hindi sila yung Singaporeans na kausap namin. Ang kausap namin is from National University of Singapore.
Okay.
But actually, we reviewed their model, and actually, of course, in their website, if we're going to open the website of those Singaporeans na nag-study niyan, may disclaimer sila na this is actually for academic purposes, hindi for policy making. Kasi when we look at their model, it's very simplistic. Mas comprehensive yung model na ginawa namin. Tapos yung model nila is just basically the SIR model, and hindi sila naglagay ng interventions. It's just purely SIR. In our model, we really include may ECQ, what if may GCQ, what if may gantong test. So actually medyo nakakapagod sa modelers, but every day kung merong mga bagong news, naglalagay kami ng mga ganung scenarios. And actually hindi yun nagawa ng Singapore team. And I understand because hindi naman sila from Philippines, so the information they have is very limited lang din.
Okay, so final, we have 1 minute to go. What were the serious recommendations that you guys made? I mean, if you have 1, 2, or 3 recommendations, ano yung sinabi ninyo na dapat gawin ito?
Okay, so the UP COVID-19 pandemic response team is always releasing policy notes. And in our policy note number 2, we recommended that actually we are the first one who recommended the graduated relaxation of the community quarantine. And we need to look at per province, not as a whole. Pwede nga kung municipality. And another one is we really need to have testing. Without the testing, may hirapan talaga tayo to decide, lalo na kung we're going to make the decision granular. Okay? Kaya kailangan natin yon. And currently, what we are doing now is we are doing also socioeconomic models integrated with epidemiological models. Anong jobs yung at risk? Anong sectors yung pwedeng i-open? So we are actually partnering with economists, and we hope na makatulong to sa mga tao.
Ano yung mga jobs na dapat na pwede nang ibukas?
Yes, the UP School of
Manila, sa Metro Manila, Jomar.
Medyo hindi ko matandaan yung we actually analyze 1,000 jobs hindi ko matandaan yung specific. But of course, definitely, may listahan kami doon.
Okay, let's do it this way. We'll set you up for a second date para you could also email me all of that data so I can also analyze it, because there's one thing you and I agree on. The data is so small to use it as a basis for national policy, particularly policy that can seriously affect millions of Filipinos. Thank you very much, Jomar,
Thank
Rabajante,
you.
and we pray that you will stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy. And God bless you, bro.
Thank you, Sito.
Okay, that's Dr. Jomar Rabajante. He's a mathematician and part of the UP team that's helping out draft mathematical projections, models, so that the government would have at least additional info to guide them in doing the policies. Now, let's go to the province of Marinduque, where Governor Presby Velasco Jr. is keeping the reins tight. And let's find out. Governor Presby, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Sito, and to all your viewers, pleasant good morning to one and all.
Okay, kamusta na po ba dyan sa Marinduque, at what is your situation like? You are an island, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's correct, Sito.
Oh,
Here in
so
Marinduque, yes.
so how does that make life easier for you? Kasi with Governor Artiap, medyo nagpapasalamat siyang island sila, mas madaling i-control itong COVID-19 and still carry on with the economy. What about Marinduque, sir?
That's quite true, Sito. The same thing applies to us. We have only several entry points, more particularly the piers, no, the ports, and we have a very firm control of that. And likewise, we have activated our barangay officials to monitor closely the arrivals of persons from outside the province and those using the pump boat. So we have a tight control over the island province.
Okay, now, generally, people assume that leaders such as yourself would be raring to go from ECQ, from enhanced community quarantine, down to the more relaxed general community quarantine. Pero dyan sa Marinduque, ang balita ko, you have opted to stay under ECQ. Why is that, Governor?
Well, it's our belief, it's our position after reviewing the situation here that we still have to do certain measures, no, undertake certain measures just to assure us, more or less, in a very high degree, that there are not many positive people infected with the COVID, no? We still have to do mass testing of our persons under monitoring, which number around more than 9,000. And we will be implementing that this week. And we are still preparing some isolation areas. And then we want to inform the people, make them understand, no, that even with this relaxed community quarantine, that things will be different, no? It will be not the same normal activities that they do before the COVID crisis. So there will be dialogues conducted with different barangays, no, with the constituents there, and it has to be explained to them. So there are certain things that we have to still implement before we want this GCQ to be applied.
You're clearly taking this situation seriously. May we know what was the impact of COVID-19 in the province of Marinduque? Marami bang namatay diyan? Marami bang na-infect kaya talaga naghihigpit ka, Governor?
Well, originally, meron ho tayong 4 na positive na kababayan. And these 4 have fully recovered, no? But then when we did some testing with the rapid antibody test kits with the PUIs, it resulted to two people being infected with the virus.
Okay.
So, medyo natakot ho kami na kasi wala namang masyadong maraming na-test ng PCR test, no? Kaya sabi namin, there may be other infected persons here in Marinduque. That's why we want to be sure that the persons under monitoring, which number more than 9,000 people, have to be tested first with the rapid antibody tests before we recommend the lifting later on of the community quarantine. So
Did,
medyo
did I
maingat po kami.
did I hear you right? You said 90 people are persons under monitoring?
No, I'm sorry, 9,000. I'm sorry, 9,000 persons are persons under monitoring. That's an old classification, but we kept track of that. No, we want this 9,000, and many of whom came from Metro Manila, and
Wow.
we we discovered that the four persons infected before all came from Metro Manila. So we just want to be sure, Sito, that all these 9,000 are not infected with the virus.
Well, para sa kabutihan din nila naman yan at saka sa kabutihan ng mga tiga Marinduque. But the question is, Governor, do you even have the money or will is the Department of Health going to help you or has any private corporation stepped up? Maybe yung mga dakilang mga anak ng Marinduque. Has anyone stepped up? Or do you have the money to do this?
Well, the money that we will use to buy the rapid antibody test kits will come from the 1.5 month era given to the province by the national government. And of course, there are Marinduqueños who make contributions to the province, no? Especially the the PPEs, the medical equipment, the masks. Some of our province mates do donations to us.
Okay, now the next question I presume would be, where have you placed these 9,000 persons under monitoring?
Uh, these persons have undergone home quarantine. And
Mm.
since we decided to still impose ECQ for the province, no, these people are still in their respective houses. And right now, we are still imposing the curfew for our kababayans here. Although we ask for their understanding that it may be a little difficult for them, but we ask them to do some more sacrifice for the province.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that, Governor Velasco, and I hope that somehow you will get all the testing kits you need kasi medyo sakit talaga ng ulo ito at napaka-unpredictable nitong COVID-19 na ito. But nonetheless, I'm believing that the good Lord will protect you and your constituents. May you stay safe, strong, and healthy, and God bless you, Governor.
Yes, Sita, but just a last word, no?
Yes,
I
please,
would
go ahead.
just like to appeal to the national government that the barangay captains and the kagawads and the barangay nutrition scholars and also the members of the Lupon, tagapamayapa, be included in the coverage of the social amelioration of the SWD because they have been excluded. And because they are merely receiving honoraria, it is our submission and it's the petition of the League of Provinces and ULAP that they be included in the coverage of the social amelioration benefits of the SWD.
Gov, could you do me a favor and just send that to my guest coordinator so I can also mention it in my column and so we could discuss this with the appropriate authority on the matter. Medyo Yan din ang tinakil namin kasi may mga iba rin yung mga single, mga byuda na wala ng pamilya who were excluded from the SAP and who are now suffering. Thank you very much,
Yes.
nonetheless, Gov.
Thank you, Sito, and stay safe. Okay.
Okay, that is Governor Presby Velasco of the province of Marinduque, and it seems that it's not just the widower, single, unmarried individuals who have been excluded from the Social Amelioration Fund. Those who are, I'm calling them senior na, single pa, etc. But even the frontliners, because they are actually working in the barangay. But the reality is, mga kaibigan, marami po tayong barangay tanod na naghihikahos. Kanya nga nagbarangay tanod kasi wala nang makuwang ibang trabaho. We hope that Malacanang, the legislative branch, and all the other concerned agencies will come together. I know you guys are meeting today. Please tackle this. Please do something about this because it's going to create a sense of unfairness, injustice, and it disregards a real need by people who are qualified. So that's it for today. Agenda has reached the deadline, and we hope that you will all stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and please, whatever you do today, please read the Bible, say prayers for your loved ones, make it a habit because it's one thing that will make a difference in your life. God bless all of you. I'm Cito Beltran, and that's Agenda. Thank you.